Man, yo, what it do, man? This is your boy back again, North End Floyd, man, with a reaction video, man. We got some dope TikTok videos that we finna check out, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. We got a few videos that's depicting the weather and how they control it and stuff like that. So, if you see multiple videos about the weather, um, this video, this stream right here that you watch it's gonna be more about that. All right. I'm not gonna take up your time, man. Let's rock out. Let's check out these videos because this is some head blowing stuff, man. Let's go down this rabbit hole and let's see what's good, man. All right.
Don't ask me how I got on this side of TikTok, but check out this wave map. This little cell right here just pops up suddenly. 80-foot waves off of Antarctica. Here I'm showing you kind of like a time lapse of what happens to the cell. So you see it's starting to move towards Africa. So it's moving up, it's growing bigger, it's getting stronger. And then I zoom in here just because there's some shapes there and I'm just curious, I'm just curious what this looks like. It's kind of nuts. But what's interesting here, so it's growing, gets bigger and bigger. 11 p.m., 2 a.m., 5 a.m., and then it's gone.
Yeah.
So between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m., it just disappeared. Why did 80-foot waves come out of nowhere?
A billionaire friend of mine, who's a legitimate billionaire, told me that it's entirely possible that some of these guys are trillionaires. Some of these Middle Eastern guys. He's like, you've never seen wealth like this. It's insane. And do you know in the United Arab Emirates, they make it rain every week? Once a week, they make it rain.
I mean,
they seed the clouds.
Really?
They make it rain. Yeah, because they're in the desert. And they're like, I don't like this. I like it to rain. So they fucking put all that shit that they have to put into the sky to make it rain, which they've been doing forever, cloud seeding, but insanely expensive. But they do it once a week.
So
52 times a year it rains there.
So you think NASA landed a rover on Mars?
Let me pause that because you know what? It's actually flooding right now out there. And maybe somebody messed up and they did too much cloud seeding and shit. And now it's flooding out there, okay? It's crazy.
199 million miles away? You sure about that? You're sure they didn't just send a crew to Devon Island, Canada, and take some photos and do some editing? Some editing to give it that red planet tint?
Oh.
Some editing that others before me have matched up identically with Devon Island and photos they claim to be Mars.
Oh.
Photos so identical that they just have to be identical. And then what they do is they release photos like this to make you think, oh my goodness, there could be aliens or other life on Mars. And that takes the attention away from the fact that the photos aren't really of Mars. And then they got you because now you think they're covering up aliens instead of covering up the fact that Mars isn't a planet. Because if you look at what they claim to be a planet with your own eyes through an actual telescope or a P1000 camera, you see something much different. Because here's what NASA shows, and with a short video.
The Hubble Space Telescope just captured this new image of Mars in May 2016 as Earth and Mars approached opposition when both planets are on the same side of the...
But if you decide to research yourself and explore what thousands of people see instead of the one government agency, you see Mars looks an awful lot like a pool light shimmering in water, and nothing like a planet. And then you dig even more, and you find plenty of evidence that NASA was at Devon Island.
Place that is barren,
Vast, intimidating.
you're rambling through.
Hey, there's something to think about, man.
It's isolated, remote, and rocky, just like the surface.
Does he have a point?
I think someday there'll be humans walking on Mars, definitely. My guess is that the first people who land on Mars will say something to the effect, oh wow, this looks just like Devon Island.
So you can go on believing the mainstream narrative all you want, or you can go out and seek truth and do real learning and seek knowledge, because learning is knowledge and belief is the enemy of knowledge. The choice is up to you. You just got to make that decision. Are you happy believing, or would you rather know? Because what I know is that this was all for entertainment. I don't believe any of this stuff. Yeah, we've definitely been to Mars. And guys, if you like my content and you like TikTok and you like truth, I'm on a mission to save TikTok because there is too much truth.
Hey,
on
let's
here
save TikTok,
for them
man.
to shut us up.
Y'all
Go
follow
to my
the homie.
website, fittestflatearther.com. I literally have these marked at no profit to myself, just shipping cost. Go get one and let your shirt speak for itself. Peace.
The conspiracy theory is that Avril Lavigne died or committed suicide sometime in 2003, right at the height of her popularity, because she couldn't deal with the fame, and also her grandpa had just passed away. Because she was so popular at that time, her record label apparently replaced her with a body double named Melissa Vandella. So the conspiracy theory goes that the record label already used Melissa to distract the paparazzi from the real Avril Lavigne because she wasn't into the spotlight. And she
wants that hidden.
Could humans actually be from Mars? There is this theory that says humans are actually aliens that originated from Mars instead of Earth. According to the theory, there was once an advanced civilization there in the distant past, but then a massive nuclear war happened, destroying Mars and its civilization, making it uninhabitable, with only a few of us managing to escape to Earth to start over. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There's this element that's called xenon. It's a noble gas used for lighting, but I'm talking more specifically about xenon-129. This isotope is typically only created after nuclear explosions or reactor leaks. And here's the thing, Mars has a ton of this stuff, especially around these two spots. Now, natural nuclear reactors can happen, but whatever this is, looks more like someone was blowing the place up. Is this evidence of such a cataclysm? With evidence of ancient rivers and ocean beds, along with organic materials being found, coupled with strange anomalies that look man-made, this theory has made people...
I have a theory.
All right, so we just seen one video that the dude just said basically that, you know, we never been to Mars. And now we have another video that says that we're actually from Mars. So, you know, these videos is just opinionated, man. We just trying to educate ourselves, man. We just trying to open our mind to the possibility of different options that NASA, the government, or who else been trying to give us. Let's rock out.
What if life as we know it is one giant loop? As you see in a video, is of it zooming out from the Earth into the universe and the galaxies and everything like that. And we know that the smallest particle is an atom. So what if when you're zooming out, you're really zooming in? Because you're just one big, large body, but when you break you down to your cells on a molecular level, you just get this reality again. Look at this video. Like, isn't that what it looks like when they show the body? Like, look, watch this next part when they get out of, look at that. Nerves. Does that not look like nerves? How is that our universe? It is us. We are the universe, literally.
I'm telling y'all, they always hide the truth in plain sight.
Sure is. Make a deal with me, kid. You can have the car and everything that goes along with it.
Yeah, they got Usher in there too.
So what do you say?
Two things. That's a Freemason sign ring. And, wait a minute, that's obviously the dead.
Always be careful of the dead man walking.
Listen, a normal tornado, scary enough, but it's not nearly as scary as these guys, known as the Dead Man Walking tornadoes. This video that I was tagged in shows footage of something known as the Dead Man Walking tornado. You'll notice that there are two tornadoes here that have touched the ground, and this one right here almost looks like it has legs and it's walking. Now, we've covered plenty of terrifying tornadoes, including nocturnal ones or ones that happen at night, but none are quite the same as this. Dead man walking tornadoes occur when multiple vortexes are coming from the same exact storm system. When they're coming down from the clouds, it almost looks like legs that are walking. In the original clip here, you can see exactly what we're looking at. It does look like a person walking. And as it turns out, this name right here is very fitting because typically dead man walking tornadoes are extremely powerful, much more than just your average run-of-the-mill tornado. So if you see one of these, you better turn around and book it in the opposite direction.
The National Geospatial Intelligence Agency now formally blowing the whistle on secrets he says no one has ever shared publicly before. He is speaking one-on-one with investigative reporter Ross Coldhart, reporting for News Nation.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will. It's probably not the right parlance, but no kidding, non-human.
Can we believe this guy? Because to be honest with you, what he is saying could possibly get him killed. And he looks very calm. He looks very relaxed. He looks like unbothered that what he is saying can probably get him killed. So can we believe this guy, or is he just a plant? So y'all take that to consideration.
Exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number.
All right, tune into Vargas tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, a worldwide
Within the Maya and the Aztec, there's been estimates today by some researchers who have studied that we've lost 90+% of everything ancient in terms of writings and artifacts and describing their story from that region. They literally stole or burned everything. Do you know where they are?
That's wild.
They still exist.
Where?
The Vatican.
How do we know that?
Because there have been whistleblowers that have talked about what's down there. I'm not going to name any names. Let's just say the library has an entire collection of Maya, Aztec, Egyptian, as well as ancient Sumerian tablets. When archaeologists and researchers look into when they conquered that region and then when they brought everything back, they discussed how it went back to Spain first.
How do we know that it ended up at the Vatican?
Because the Vatican was the head of the Catholic Church. The Vatican is the powerhouse behind why they went and conquered the Americas, because Spain was an empire.
They say that the moon has no atmosphere. Then how was the American flag planted on the surface of the moon, fluttering, when there is no presence of air? If we actually did go to the moon, the flag wouldn't be fluttering mid-air. When you have atmosphere, things can float. As you can see, the astronauts, when they jump, they land back because of the presence of excess atmosphere, allowing them to float. And this is further proved by the vacuum experiment. When they create a vacuum and they drop a ball and a feather, both of them land instantaneously at the same time. So why is it that the astronauts are not landing immediately? This is because there is atmosphere present, and it is not the moon. It is just the surface of the Earth.
NASA's playing God. They're making their own weather.
Don't worry if you can't hear what I'm saying. I couldn't even hear myself. This is the loudest sound you could possibly conceive. And as it turns out, the cleanest.
Make you want to look in the sky right now.
The most amazing thing is that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain.
That's crazy.
I told you. It's raining. That's unbelievable. Oh. NASA's playing God. It's making its own weather.
We put a chip in your brain to control your mind. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Concerns not alleviated.
Yeah, there you go. Step right up. Who wants one? No. So Neuralink, you'll be able to see Neuralink coming from a very long distance, because any device that you implant in a human you have to go through so many tests. It moves very slowly. You just do a few people at a time. You go to extreme lengths to prove safety. You have to go through the FDA approval, doing everything by the book. We're going far beyond what the requirements are of the FDA from a safety standpoint. The initial devices will really just be pretty basic. It'll be about restoring functionality to people who've lost their connection between their brain and their body. So you can imagine, like, if, say, Stephen Hawking could talk or communicate as fast as somebody with a fully functioning body. That would be amazing. That's our first application, is to restore functionality to quadriplegics, tetraplegics, and people who have just, for whatever reason, no longer have a connection between, or a limited connection between their brain and their body. The second application would be restoration of eyesight. So if somebody's gone completely blind, maybe even has lost the optic nerve, you can actually still directly stimulate the neurons in the visual part of the cortex. So you can give direct vision to the brain. In fact, you could actually, depending upon what cameras you use, you could actually see in different wavelengths. You know, like Geordie LaForge from, like, you know, you could like have that, like, I actually watched like an episode of Star Trek Next Generation with special effects compared to what we're used to, are like, you know, not that great, but he's got like the wraparound, you know, glasses, and he can see in different wavelengths. So you can see like ultraviolet, you know, infrared, and that kind of thing. So you can actually do that. You could say, like, you could see in radar if you want.
What's the long-term goal for it?
Ultimately, the idea would be to achieve a symbiosis between our biological mind and our kind of digital mind. So we're already kind of a cyborg if you think of like your phone and your computers as an extension of yourself. In fact, if you leave your phone behind, it's like you have missing limb syndrome. You're like, you know, where did it go? You know?
Yeah, it's like that.
So the
now.
phone is a kind of an extension of ourselves, like computer is. The various applications that we use are already an extension of self. So we are already a cyborg. It's just that the interface is with our eyes and our fingers. That interface, especially output, the rate at which we can type words into a phone or a computer, just it's.
Y'all see the way they going? They already done picked up that, look, a lot of people is lost without their phones, man. A lot of people cannot function without their phones. So, like he said, it's just the extension. It's just your eyes and then your hands and your fingers. What he's gonna do, he's just gonna implement that chip in your brain. You ain't gonna even need no phone no more. It's gonna be already in your head. That's kind of crazy just to think of. I'm just thinking of how they can control people with that. But hey, man, I mean, this is what the future finna be looking like, y'all.
Very slow. Our input is much better because the data rate from vision is many thousands of times, maybe 1 million times better than the rate at which we can output. So input is like maybe, I don't know, roughly 1 million times better than output. So what a Neuralink device can do is improve that bandwidth, allow you to be sort of much more symbiotic with the AI extension.
I found out some shit about the OJ case 2 days ago that I bet y'all don't even know.
Give it to me.
Do you know who Glenn Rogers is?
He lived.
Glenn Rogers, better known as the cross-country killer, was Nicole Brown Simpson's handyman.
What do you mean?
That's crazy too. And then why the police never said that or talked about that? You know, we should have been acquiring those type of facts if you present somebody to be a murderer or, you know, charging somebody of murder.
He was her handyman was a serial killer. He was convicted. He killed 4 blinds. He was convicted of killing 4 blinds. That was his thing. He was from Ohio. He was her handyman, which means he was at her house a couple times a week. Y'all look it up if you think I'm bullshitting. His name is Glenn Rogers, known as the cross-country killer or the Casanova killer. He was convicted of killing 4 people 4 women in 1995, and during the time of the murders, and for years before that, he was her handyman.
And that's crazy if the police knew that the handyman, you know, was a serial killer, and you never tell motherfuckers this shit.
Never knew.
And they never brought that shit up in the media.
But that's the type of games though the media play though. Once a narrative is spent and it's making
Come
money,
on now.
they're not deviating from that. They need to make that
Okay,
money.
R.I.P.
They
OJ.
painted her as a victim in the media.
Damn, what the hell is that? Him and the dog's getting out of there.
Hey.
That's a wolf?
I think it's time to go.
What is your opinion on everything that's coming out right now with these modern day UFOs and this guy, Dave Grush?
I think Dave Grush is telling the truth, personally, which is why they don't want him to keep talking. He says that we have bodies not of this world. We have, vehicles not of this world. I believe that. What the Pentagon and the military are doing, they want to control the narrative because they're getting ready to continue to produce these technologies that mimic or look like some real UFOs. In other words, real identified flying objects, but they're ours. And there's a lot of them that are ours. But they want to control the narrative because you remember the Gulf of Tonkin incident where we faked the whole lie about what happened and all of a sudden that let us get into the Vietnamese War. Yep. Imagine we have one of these flying triangles like a TR-3B or some UFO that we created. We fly over one of our own warships and shoot it, so that we can make everybody afraid. Say now we need trillions of dollars going into space weapons. Now there's a whole space weapon industry being funded by tax dollars that doesn't even need to exist. But these fat cats with these $10,000 suits are going to get richer and richer.
All right, look, like I said, man, these videos right here is making you think, man. What has the government been spoon feeding us, man? I mean, do y'all believe some of these videos or some of these people fake or they lying? I mean, hey, man, it's up to you to depict, you know what I'm saying, what's true and what's not, man. But what I'm going to continue to do is continue to show you these videos, and we're going to continue going down these rabbit holes and just open our eyes, man, to see what's going on. But until then, man, y'all be safe. Y'all be blessed. And I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.